Hey everyone, my name is Cryptic Athena, and this is my Straw Hat tier list. The tier list maker for this is called Straw Hat Pirates Post Wano. However, this video is going to be what I think the Straw Hats are their overall power. God dang it, their overall power level is right now. Um, this isn't going to be a really long video. I just really wanted to talk about this, and it's not really. I'm not trying to like start anything with anyone. I'm just putting my opinion out there. I just think you know, there's just a certain dynamic I like about the Straw Hats, and I wanted to put my thoughts on the whole power scaling thing between all of them. So, first things first, we have Vivi at the bottom. There's not a picture for Vivi, but I decided to put her there because I think we all can agree that she is an honorary Straw Hat. Whether or not she will join them after Wano or in the future again is has yet to be seen, but I would I would put money on her coming back. Next we have the low tier, the low three, and these are characters who are not the direct frontline powerhouses. These are the characters that typically stay in the back and use ranged attacks or just don't typically fight. Then we have the mid three who are decent fighters, but their jobs are not um, fighting. They don't fight normally. And then we have big three level. Since I have Luffy in his own tier because I think we can all agree he's more powerful than anyone on his crew. Whether or not he would like lose to somebody like Zoro or Sanji, that's a whole other debate. But I think by this point, since we have characters like Yamato and Jinbei who are theorized to join the crew, I think it warrants making a quote big three level category for Straw Hat tier lists whenever you're trying to make them. So yeah, and then of course we have Luffy tier. So at the top, we're just gonna go ahead and put Luffy there. Then under him, going next into the big three level, we're gonna go Zoro. Uh, hmm, I gotta put respect on Jinbei to be honest, but Yamato's pretty strong. I think I think Jinbei after Zoro. See, if I do that, what if I do this? What's the reaction to this? Hate comments? Is that what this is? I think when it comes to the big three level, you can swap them in and out with each other. Realistically, realistically, I think Jinbei is stronger than Sanji. And that's just that. I think that's what he is. As for Yamato, I think you could swap either of them, to be honest. Anyways, I think Sanji, when it comes to Sanji versus Yamato, or Sanji versus Jinbei, I think they are definitely far more stronger than he is. This is not taking into account of the raid suit, which we haven't seen him use yet. And I'm not sure if he is going to use it, but if he doesn't use it, then then it's like, okay, well, he's fighting Queen and he hasn't used the raid suit yet. And if he defeats Queen without the raid suit, I think power levels are going to be skewed in his favor. So, you know what? Benefit of the doubt, if he does defeat Queen without the raid suit, I think it's possible. I think it's very possible that he might be on the same level as Yamato or stronger than Yamato. I, I I don't know. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I might be wrong. Again, we still haven't seen him really use the raid suit, so like imagine this scenario. He beats Queen without the raid suit. And then later down the line, we see him use the raid suit, and then that we know the raid suit increases his power level pretty much like tenfold or however strong it goes. So I think you got to put some respect on Sanji here when it comes to power scaling. And with that, he might be stronger than Yamato with the raid suit. Without it, probably a little less than, but I would say even without it, he's on the same level as Yamato. So, but I think Zoro is at the top, and then Jinbei is probably second. You know, a lot of these characters just have like they're really strong on their own, but for Jinbei, if you put him in the water, it's done and dusted for all of them. And also Yamato's a devil fruit user, so he can't get smacked around by Jinbei, and that's why Jinbei is above Yamato because of the fishman karate, especially in the water. So Yamato's gonna get clapped by Jinbei any time of the week, I would say. And then of course we have Sanji here, and then Yamato. I want to say that Sanji and Yamato are on the same level. You can argue back and forth whether or not one is over the other. I'm going to put some respect on Sanji's power level. Obviously, Yamato has a mythical devil fruit, and he's very strong without using it, but I don't know. I don't know. With that whole thing that he might defeat Queen without the raid suit, and the whole idea that if he defeats Queen without the raid suit, then we've been like underestimating his power this whole time. I don't know. I don't know. All right. Moving on to the mid three, we have Robin, uh, Brook, Frankie. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember if I put Frankie over Brook or Brook over Frankie when I first did this. I should have wrote this down, honestly. But it's okay, it's okay. So obviously, with Robin as the MVP of chapter 1021 and just absolutely decimating Black Maria, and whether or not she has hockey or not, I think it's safe to say that Robin should technically be more powerful on the crew, in my opinion, because her fruit allows her to spring arms from anywhere. And if she were to be on the tier of like, I don't know, Zoro, theoretically, she should be able to one shot everyone uh below her because of the ability to just restrain people immediately. And since you can't really do anything to stop that without hockey, there's no stopping her for real. I think she's for real one of the most underrated crew members when it comes to power. Um, and I think she's beating Brook, and I think she's beating Frankie. Now, as for Brook versus Frankie, I'm not quite sure. They're both very strong on their own, but I don't know. I think it kind of comes down to uh, how they how they fight, how smart they are in a fight. I'm trying to remember. They're both fairly smart in their fights. However, Brook just kind of one shots everyone he comes across, which is kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy how often Brook just one shots everyone. It's really weird. And also, can't forget he attacked Zeus and was it Zeus or Prometheus? Either way, he attacked one of the Big Mom's homies and completely not obliterated, but immobilized them briefly. And with that, I mean that's a crazy feat alone. When's the last time we saw Frankie attack a Yonko like that? You know, when have we seen him immobilize someone like that? I don't think we have ever. And here's another thing: when it comes to the intelligence between the three of these characters, Robin is obviously far more intelligent than the both of them combined. And I would say with that, the the combat intelligence that she has when fighting with her devil fruit and any knowledge that she learned while with the revolutionaries in terms of combat, probably definitely is gonna overthrow Brook and Frankie. With that in mind, I don't know if Brook is more intelligent than Frankie when it comes to fighting. However, I think there's something about Brook and his devil fruit that is not really talked about a lot. I want to save it for a video, but I think he literally attacks the soul of whoever he's facing. And someone without hockey who can block that, I think that is a pretty strong attack, strong moves that Brook has against everyone everyone that is Frankie and below Frankie. And I think that's very, I think it's very cool if he is actually able to attack the soul directly. And it'd be very interesting if we got something like that confirmed. I mean, Brook can do all sorts of stuff with his devil fruit, but I want to save that for another video. Then of course Frankie. I think when it comes to pure strength, he's obviously stronger than Brook. However, I think I think just by the nature of Brook's devil fruit and the possibility and like the possibilities of the power is really really strong when it comes to Frankie. Also, I don't know if it's been noted in One Piece, but and before I say this, One Piece is obviously not like any other media in history when it comes to certain weaknesses against characters. But if you've watched some media, I can't really name anything off the top of my head right now. But when a robot's joints are frozen, they're not really strong. So even if Brook can't outpower Frankie, he can probably immobilize him very easily with his ice powers. But that's just me, you know. Whether or not that's true or not has yet to be seen. And then also in the mid three, I want to put Carrot at the bottom here. Um, I don't really have anything to say about her. I think her Sulong form is very strong and comparable to Robin's Demonio form, but that's all I can really say when it comes to Carrot. Uh, and since she doesn't have access to Sulong every hour of the day, that's why she's at the bottom, or at least below Robin. When it comes to fighting Brook or Frankie, has yet to be seen. I think Carrot is very strong, but I don't know how she really compares to Frankie at least. I wouldn't say she's over Frankie. If I were going to swap this around, she might be over Brook in terms of power and probably fighting skill, but I don't feel like changing it around to where I put her like up here, and that would mean I have to put Frankie up here. So, yeah. And also, while I wouldn't mind either Yamato or Carrot, I kind of just don't want anyone to join unless it's Vivi. You know what I mean? So that's just me. That's just me. All right. Okay. And then at the low three down here, we have, realistically, when I do this, I want to say Chopper, Nami, Usopp. That's a realistic uh, lineup. I think anyone could agree with this. People might also agree with Nami, Chopper, Usopp because Nami has Zeus. But I think Chopper has an edge over Nami because of combat intelligence. And it's very crazy how Chopper is just so strong. I think he's definitely one of the strongest crew members, and if he were to be trained in any way to become more strong, I think he could get up to big three level, but that's my own personal headcanon here. Now, when it comes down to it, Chopper is a doctor, and he has access to Brainpoint, and although we haven't seen it, he has that. We haven't seen it post time skip, I believe, but he has that one ability where he can pinpoint the weakness of a target. Again, we haven't seen him do that really at all post time skip. I can't really think of anything at the moment. But the fact that he has access to that means that he probably could wipe out Nami and Usopp respectively just by tracking down their weakness. And I mean, when it comes to Usopp and Nami, they're both not all that physically strong. I think, and then there's also Monster Point. Like, I think Nami could hold her own with Zeus versus Monster Point, but I kind of want to give it to Chopper. I like Chopper more. I like his abilities more. I will say that when it comes to him versus Nami, now that she has Zeus, potentially a 50-50 between the two of them when it comes to fighting. But I do like Chopper more, so that's why he's at the top. And in that regard, maybe him and Nami are on the same level. And then we have Usopp here. Usopp is a very, very interesting character when it comes to power level. Because Oda himself stated that Usopp will be the weakest Straw Hat for the entire series. And I think that's very interesting. Because if you remember pre-time skip, it's important to say pre-time skip. He fought Luffy. He didn't win. It came down basically to a draw because they weren't trying to kill each other, obviously. But I think it's very interesting that Usopp held his own against Luffy, who is supposed to be the strongest member of the Straw Hat crew, being the captain and such. And he nearly beat him. I would say nearly beat him. You could still be like, you know, it was kind of like a whatever, you know, a whatever defeat. But I just think it's interesting that Usopp held his own against Luffy. Now, that's not to say that he could hold his own to someone like Zoro or like Jinbei now, you know? But I think when it comes to the low three, I want to say that he can at least win once against Nami and Chopper. And for that matter, I would even go as far to say he can win one time against everyone on the Straw Hat crew, excluding Yamato and Carrot, because they're not officially joined. I want to say that he could potentially beat all of them, at least once, because his combat, like, the way he thinks during combat, and I saw someone talk about this in one of this Discord servers we were having to talk about Usopp, and they said if he had enough preparation time, he could potentially beat some of the Straw Hat members, or he, she, I don't remember who it was. They said he might be able to beat some of the Straw Hat crew members. And I agree with that. I think if he had enough preparation time, he could definitely beat all of the Straw Hat crew members at least once. At least once. He already took down Luffy. That was a draw. And when it comes down to it, I would say, theoretically, it would all come down to a draw versus all of them. Because they're not trying to kill each other, right? They're crewmates. Although Zoro, I think he did say that one time that if if one of your subordinates disrespects you, you should kill him. I think that's what he said when Luffy and Usopp fought. I think that's what happened. I don't remember. But, you know, aside from Zoro, I think every fight versus Usopp would come down to a draw. And when it comes and just the way that Usopp knew how to quote unquote counter Luffy's devil fruit, just with how he did it, it was very interesting. So who's to say that he doesn't have other ways to counter the Straw Hat crew members? In a way, he's I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's this clip of Batman talking about how he has contingency plans for each of the Justice League members and how he would take them out if they ever went rogue. Think of Usopp sort of like him. Obviously, Usopp is nowhere near the level of Batman, but I do personally believe Usopp has some sort of plan for all the Straw Hat crew members if he ever had to fight them. He definitely has one against Luffy, at the very least. Obviously, now he probably couldn't beat Luffy 9 out of 10 times. And that's another thing. Whenever I say 9 out of 10 times when it comes to the low three, aside from like versus Luffy, I think 10 out of 10 times Luffy's going to beat Usopp, but that's besides the point. Versus the low three, when I say 9 out of 10 times versus Nami or Chopper, I think that comes down to Usopp tapping into his observation hockey again. Like imagine if in the middle of their skirmish, he taps into that and he gets it for like, I don't know, like a brief moment, sort of like Ultra Instinct for a good couple of minutes. I don't know how Ultra Instinct works exactly because I don't really watch Dragon Ball Z, but I know what happened. But think of it like that. That'd be interesting. At the very least, he can beat Chopper and Nami respectively, but it's gonna take some work. And that I would say that for everyone else. Um, he probably would not be able to beat Luffy or Zoro 10 out of 10 times. Probably Jinbei too. But I think starting with Sanji and going down, he could probably beat them. Usopp could probably beat all of them. I would not be surprised. And this isn't like to say that Usopp's just gonna start walking around and washing everyone. And when it comes to Sanji, I think Sanji, when it comes to Sanji, 10 out of 10 times, he's probably gonna beat Usopp as well. But I would just, I think it'd be interesting if Usopp actually like managed to beat one of the big three. It'd be crazy, aside from Luffy, from the pre-time skip stuff. Besides that, if he was able to beat one of the big three post-time skip, that'd be insane. Absolutely insane. And I think in that regard, Usopp should get a lot more respect, even though he's gonna be probably the weakest for the foreseeable future. I do think it's interesting how he's going to be the weakest, even though when it comes to Nami and Chopper, he has already accessed hockey. Uh, like he's accessed observation hockey. I obviously hasn't mastered it, but like once he does, I think the low three is gonna look something like this. Can it move over? Can Chopper? It's gonna look something like that when it comes to the low three. And if he gets really good at observation hockey, he'll probably be right around here. Imagine if he learns armament and well, he wouldn't learn Conqueror's hockey, obviously, but armament potentially here. Potentially. Especially since Frankie doesn't seem to have hockey either. But when it comes to that speculation, he'd probably stop around here and become a part of the mid 3 level. But once he gets the hang of observation hockey, I think the low 3 is going to look like this. Obviously, realistically, since Oda himself said he was going to be the weakest, Usopp will be down here for the entire series. However, in my opinion, and for the fans, Usopp will be at the top of the low 3 once he gets a hang of observation hockey, at the very least. If he gets access to other forms of hockey, then he's gonna be up here. Like I don't care what anyone says. If Chopper and Nami do not learn hockey at all, for whatever reason, I don't know why they wouldn't. Usopp's gonna be up here. And if everyone on the Straw Hat crew learns hockey, then I think they're just gonna be all moved up. to mid 3 level. I think they're just going to be all moved up to mid 3. And, you know, it'll be Robin, Brook, Frankie, Chopper, Nami, Usopp, all in the mid 3 tier. If the mid 3 and low 3 all learn hockey, that's going to be crazy. Everyone in the Straw Hat crew, by the end of the story, very realistically, will be at mid 3 level. I would hope that they all reach big 3 level, but that's reaching for the stars here. But yeah, I think that's everything that I want to talk about. Really quickly, when I come back here to the big 3 level, when it comes to intellectual combat, I think Zoro, because I really talked about intellectual combat when it came to mid 3 and low 3. but that's because everybody sleeps on Robin and Usopp. I think not everyone sleeps on Robin, but they definitely sleep on the mid and low 3 when it comes to like how they react to situations and how intelligent they are in combat. And that's the only reason why I really talked about intelligent combat with mid 3 and low 3. I didn't have to talk about big 3 level because I think it's very clear that Zoro, Jinbei, Sanji, and Yamato are all perfectly well-rounded combatants. And whether or not they think correctly is, doesn't really matter because their power is far superior than the mid 3 and low 3. I think that's just how some stories are. And realistically, and if anyone on the big 3 level is more intelligent, if we're going to take intelligence into hand, then it would be Jinbei at the top here, at the top of the big 3. For sure, for certain. But yeah, I think that's good when it comes to this sort of tier list. This is my tier list for just Straw Hats in general. Not post Wano. This is just what the tier list name is called. Feel free to check it out if you want. But this is just where the Straw Hats are, in my opinion, where they are now. That's just where they are. Really quickly, I just want to also say that I don't care what anyone says. I also think Sanji is just on the same level as Zoro. Like, I just think they are. They foil each other pretty well. But when it comes to power scaling and the power scaling community in One Piece, I think this is a more fair layout here with Zoro, Jinbei, Sanji, uh, as that layout. And Sanji and Yamato are on the same level when it comes to the power scaling. Whether or not that's true, you can let me know in the comments. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Let's see how those. Oh, that 30 minutes, almost 30 minutes. Wow, that's crazy. I just sort of ranted about them. That's awesome. Okay, well, if you stuck around, that's great. I'm glad you enjoyed. Let me know if you stuck around until the very end. Um, uh, I don't know what else to talk about. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts when it comes to the power scaling of the Straw Hats, and I'll see you all next time.